Today, I'm gonna show you the best villager tricks in LEGO Fortnite. Now, this is my desert biome or my Lion Knight's castle setup, and I have 5 villagers set up here, which is really nice. But the most beautiful part about this is that I actually have 2 more villages that are just a little bit south of this, which also have 5 villagers in them, which makes today's tricks so much better. What a lot of people do on LEGO Fortnite is they find their villagers and they set them up on a job, and they'll just put 5 different villagers on 5 different jobs just to get a bunch of different materials in the game. But that actually isn't the best way to do things. So today we're going to talk about what jobs you should and shouldn't have your villagers on, and what the best way is to actually set all of your villagers up. Now, the first major trick I want to show you guys is to do with the loom or other jobs that are in the game. When you actually pull up your stations area, what you guys can see is not only do I have every single one of my stations unlocked, as most of you guys should as well, but some of the things that are on here are actually used 2 times on one job. So if I put my players on create textiles, that actually uses the spinning wheel and also uses the loom. If I put my players on cooking, it would go ahead and use the oven, it would use the juicer, and it would use the grill. So a little trick that you guys can do inside of your world is not only to go ahead and have areas set up that are only with the loom and you don't have a spinning wheel in your area, but the other thing that you guys are able to do is actually take something sort of like a wall and place it in front of a build that you don't want your villagers to work on. That way they will only work on one specific job. So an example of this working is I have nothing inside of my inventory, but when I talk to Petra and I ask her how her job's going, she will give me wool fabric and silk fabric. But what she won't give me is anything that comes from the spinning wheel. The same exact thing goes with every single one of my jobs that are on here. So now when I talk to Gus and I ask him how his job is, it's wool fabric and silk fabric, because I only have wool set up and I don't have any type of spinning wheels, so they cannot do anything that involve the spinning wheel. So now, after talking to my villagers, I have about 60 or 72 silk fabric, and then I have 48 wool fabric just from this one village. Now again, I have 2 other villages that are going to have 2 other type of jobs in there that I can set them up on. But the reason why I do this is because when you talk to your villagers and you actually go into the area that says let's talk jobs, and then you do help the village, inside of these 3 sections contains a lot of jobs that you actually don't ever need them to work on. Now, first thing is inside of your food jobs. Inside of this area, you will have 4 different type of jobs that are called grow food, cook food, extract seeds, and prepare fish. Now, the prepare fish option was usable at the time that fishing came out, but now that it's super easy to get the ingredients and to get these buckets in the game, preparing fish is not worth it. Extracting seeds isn't terrible if you're trying to create biomass, but at the end of the day, there's a job to create biomass, so you don't need to extract any seeds. Growing food isn't that great either, as obviously there's glitches in the game that can go ahead and grow food instantly for you, so you don't need this either. The cooking food option is extremely nice to use, so putting villagers in one base on the cook food option and then only having an oven at that base that can be used will give you a bunch of meat pies, fruit pies, pumpkin pies, and then also the pizza in your inventory with 5 different villagers cooking them. Now, under the resource jobs area, you actually have compost, collect nearby resources, refined wood, and refined stone. The thing about these is, once again, they're not the greatest of jobs in the area. When it comes to compost, it's extremely easy to get these if you have a village in the dry valley or by the shore biome, because your villagers will kill the skeletons, which give you bones, which gives you an infinite amount of biomass. When it comes to collecting nearby resources, they seem to work extremely slow, and it's always random mumbo jumbo that they give you that you're typically just going to get when you're out exploring anyway. Refining wood isn't bad because you do get rods out of this. However, you don't get frost pine rods, which doesn't make it that great. Refining stone actually isn't a bad one, as that he's actually going to give you slabs, whether that's marble, whether that's granite or obsidian slabs, from refining stone. So I don't believe that the refined stone option is a bad one. However, the wood, nearby resources, and compost are jobs you should not have your villagers on. Now for the final one is called refining jobs. Now this one actually isn't a terrible one. Again, it has to do with what you need in your game. Right now, the smelt metal isn't a terrible option, as you'll get glass and you'll also get copper bars, which is really nice because that means you don't need to use any bright core in order to get glass or copper bars. There's also collecting gems, which is just going to give you amber or cut amber, which isn't terrible, but again, it's not that difficult to get if you were to try to get it on your own. The final one, which is my favorite job in the game, is called Create Textiles. And what this does is this gives you the job where your players will give you silk fabric and wool fabric, which is one of the easiest and best things to have in the game because it allows you just to use a lot of the decorations in the game, like rugs and different types of stuff like that, which make it extremely nice when it comes to decorating your map, as obviously it looks so much better. So because I have my village that is up here all working on textiles, that means that I could set all of my players down here onto their own job to go ahead and do as well. So I'm going to go into help the village. I want to go into the resource job, and what I'll have these players do is refine stone for me. Now, I do have some marble slabs, I do have some granite slabs, and I do have a ton of obsidian slabs. However, if I'm going to have my players working on anything that could actually get stuff done, I want to make sure they're on one of those 3 jobs that I talked about. Now, something that I'm going to do on stream tonight, and if you guys are watching this in the future, we will be doing this together, is building my 3rd biome on this gray area here, or this orange area here, to go ahead and have 5 more villagers working for me, and then we will create a 4th biome somewhere in this undiscovered area in the bottom left area. That way that we could have 20 villagers all working for me, where I really don't have to do very much. Now, something else that I'll say is villagers do have their specialties, which means some of them will work on some jobs better than others. So we found this out really from the patch notes from Epic, where we heard that Lynx is very good when it comes to compost because they work specifically on vehicles. So if you go into your jobs and you want them to work on that, you can go into these and have them work on their very specific titles. However, all of them will get the job done, and if you're away from your village enough, you won't notice the speed difference or that specialty that they do things in. Really, the difference is speed. So if I put Lynx on a job for the compost, they should work better than what Fish Sticks would be if he was also on that job. Whereas Salty is a very good chef and would be cooking a lot better than what Lynx would be doing if she was on the cooking as well. So they do have their specialties, but you're only really going to notice that as far as the working speed, and not so much as to what items they're going to bring you or how they're going to deliver those items. So I hope that this video helps every single one of you guys out. It ultimately should go and help out when it comes to giving you guys a ton of material based off things that you need. I'm trying to make my game feel kind of like a creative mode when it comes to the grinding. So I obviously have my chest very well organized and absolutely stacked with materials that I may need when new LEGO sets drop or when we get more content dropped in the game. But let me know what you guys think of this down in the comment section below, and what treats or what jobs you guys put your villagers on while they're out there grinding for you.